This is a Brown team that Downey could really take advantage of.
And so let's get into the starting lineups for Brown. They've got a few seniors leading the charge in Stephen Spieth and Tavon Blackman, but a couple of freshmen who have emerged onto the scene. Brandon Anderson out of Mahwah, New Jersey, averaging 8 points a game and playing the guard position. Down at the 5, Josh Howard, another freshman out of Charlotte, North Carolina, 9 points and 4 rebounds a game. And then they're complemented by Obi Okoli, brother of Harvard's Agunwa Okoli, the sophomore, averaging 9 points and about 4 rebounds. He'll complement the rest of the Brown starting 5. It's a small group, James, and one that the Bulldogs will look to take advantage of on the boards.
A small team that knows how to score as well. And that's going to be the key for Brown.
And for the Bulldogs, it's that same starting lineup we've seen most of the season, led in the backcourt by senior point guard Anthony Dallier. Dallier, assist-to-turnover ratio of about 2. Saw how important he was, James, a few weeks ago when the Bulldogs were without him in the loss to Princeton. Came back, had a pretty good outing last week. Trey Fills and B.A. Oni on the wing. Oni, you mentioned him, huge game against Brown. Fills really getting into his rhythm as Ivy League play has started. And then down low, it's the combo of Blake Reynolds, the sophomore, and Sam Downey, the senior. Both had good games against Brown last week, and I think we'll look to see if Yale can get them more involved in the early going.
Yeah, between the two of them, a combined 16 for 28 last weekend against Brown. Absolutely a front court that can take advantage of Brown's undersized players down low, but it'll be an interesting matchup. Always fun when two teams are matching up again so soon without any opponents in between.
And the coaches for these two teams, Brown led by fifth-year head coach Mike Martin. Martin's team struggled the last couple seasons, but a couple promising freshmen. And this is a team, James, that was picked last in the Ivy League in the preseason polls by just about every media outlet. But so far this season, they've played well, come in with a 10-9 record, and have their eyes firmly set upon a top 4 spot to qualify for the Ivy League postseason tournament.
Absolutely. Picked up one of the big upsets of the young Ivy season, an 82-70 win over Penn a weekend ago.
And of course, the Bulldogs led by James Jones, the back-to-back Ivy League Coach of the Year at his 18th season at the helm, all-time leader in wins among Yale head coaches. And I think, in the running again, James, for Ivy League Coach of the Year. Look at this team that lost Justin Sears, Brandon Sherrod, Nick Victor from a season ago. Makai Mason goes down in preseason scrimmage with a foot injury, out for the season. But these Bulldogs are in Ivy League title contention once again. Yeah,
you can make the case this has been his best coaching job to date of the past few years. Of course, tough to top a win in March Madness, but a lot still in store this Ivy season. We're underway tonight.
And Travis Fuller actually getting the start. He takes the tip against Sam Downey. Fuller in for his rebounding, tied with Sam Downey for the lead in offensive rebounds per game. And Brown getting things underway. Blackman with the ball in the wing, guarded by Fills. Dallier nearly knocked it away from Corey Doherty. And pulling up, it's a Coley. A couple changes in the starting lineup. Doherty and Fuller in there. And Brown takes a 2-0 lead.
An already raucous atmosphere here in New Haven. First home game for the Bulldogs, the Ivy play. Of course, Brown jumped out to a big lead at home last weekend. See if Yale can do the same this evening.
Foul underneath. That'll go against Travis Fuller, and the Bulldogs will inbound.
You see the adjustments getting Fuller in that starting lineup. You wonder if that is a reaction to the strong play of Downey last weekend. And of course, the key for Yale, sometimes forgetting about getting it into the post or just not able to do so. See how effective they are tonight.
Yeah, Brown coming out. Oni shoots the 3, misses, rebound Spieth. Spieth pushing it. He's guarded by Blake Reynolds in the early going. Blackman spins into the lane. Tough shot and rolls off the rim. Blackman struggled with his shot this season, shooting only 35% from the field.
But on a team that rotates in so many freshmen and sophomores, him along with Spieth, important senior leaders on this Bears side.
Yeah, Blackman does also get to the free throw line. This Brown team in general gets to the stripe better than almost anyone else in the country as Fills takes the 3 and knocks it down, Trey Fills. But Brown, first in the country in free throw rate, which is free throws attempted per field goals attempted. And Spieth and Blackman at the lead the team in that, as there's a foul underneath. It's on Miaoni.
And that's what, when you talk about a team that gets to the free throw line a lot, the question is foul trouble. A Yale team historically, forwards have tended to get into a bit of foul trouble. This year, the team has done relatively well in that respect, but always different when Ivy season happens.
Corey Doherty tries a three, shooting 42% from beyond the arc this season, misses. 2 minutes into the game, Brown with are trailing Yale 3-2. Reynolds, hounded by Spieth. Dallier, download it, Phils with a nice cut, feeds it out to Downey. Downey out for Oni, and that'll be a turnover.
Not executed well there, but that's going to be the MO of this game. Get it inside, kick out. That time, Oni didn't have a lot of space. Instead, it was pressure on Downey, sort of forced the pass, results in a turnover.
Doherty, a sophomore out of Barrington, Rhode Island. Okoli played 1 year down the road at Choked as Spieth connects from long range.
You know, we were talking about it before the game. 7 3-pointers made last weekend, but only 25 all season long, but still shooting over 39% this season from deep. You have to be out there and guard him.
Phils into the lane, through traffic, throws one up there, late whistle. And it's the second on Travis Fuller. Huge blow to the Bears just 3 minutes into the game. Fuller, their best rebounder, will go to the bench, and in comes Joshua Howard.
Joshua Howard, impressive freshman. Started quite often for this Brown side, so not losing much, but you're right. In terms of losing one of your best rebounders, Howard struggled defensively with Downey last weekend. See how that affects him, but credit to Trey Phils, aggressive in the early going, already a three-pointer and getting to the line this time.
Phils connects on both.
Phil's another guy who's been quiet so far, Ivy play.
Spieth again.
And you can see the confidence from Spieth. No hesitation there, right over Reynolds. But as I was saying, with Trey Phils entering tonight, 3 points against Penn, 8 points against Princeton, 3 against Brown last week, and already 5 tonight for the sophomore guard. So good start for him.
Dallier to Reynolds for 3. Wide open, can't connect. Brown in the other way. Doherty back to Spieth, trailing. Dallier did well to get out, denied the three-point attempt, and then Dallier with the steal to Oni the other way.
You tell it's conference season already, a lot of energy here. That last 3 attempt from Reynolds, I don't think there's not a little bit of competition between him and Spieth.
Doherty misses the 3. Dallier to the baseline, finds Reynolds. Phils picks up his dribble. Oni there. And offensive foul, the call. Doherty was in position.
And Dallier lowering the shoulder a bit. Good position for Brown, and early foul against Dallier.
Steven Spieth can't be stopped from beyond the arc. Shooting 40% from beyond the arc coming into the game. But he made 18 three-pointers in his first 18 games this season. He's made 9 in the last 45 minutes of basketball against Yale. Just an otherworldly performance so far by the senior.
Yeah, I think he might be upset that they're not playing Yale again in this regular season. Unreal shooting performance from Spieth this last game and a few minutes here. Had a look there. Yale's just going to have to, and right there, you see it, Yale's going to have to come out at him hard, and it just opens up so much space for him to create. That time, a nice nifty assist and easy basket for Brown.
And ball taken away by Anderson the other way. Alex Copeland checked into the game during that timeout, as well as Jordan Bruner. For Brown, Brandon Anderson, the freshman, into the ball game. Also, J.R. Hobby, sharp-shooting senior. He's hitting 51% from 3 this season. Bruner picks up his dribble, needs to get rid of it. Copeland on the baseline, lost it, and it will stay with the Bulldogs.
Of course, Hobby had the attempt from deep last game. Brown had the ball with a few seconds left, trailing by 1. They're trailing by 1 because that man right there, Alex Copeland, hit the second end of a 1-and-1 to put Yale up 1, the decisive point in that contest. And early on, though, it's Brown with the slight edge tonight.
Yeah, Bulldogs get into Bruner underneath, and that's what they're going to have to do. They have the size down low. Get it into Bruner, see if he can get to the free throw line. Bruner maybe not naturally as comfortable as someone like Sam Downey working down there, but the freshman has the size and athleticism to make Brown pay.
Yeah, and you really expect Bruner to want to come back and have a strong performance tonight after a pretty quiet evening last week, and had a big-time block, actually one of those top 10 plays of the week. Big block in the closing minutes for Bruner, but he only had 2 points, 1 of 4 shooting, just 20 minutes of action for someone that was really improving as the non-conference season was going along.
And Mie Oni did an excellent job tipping that rebound loose. Copeland with the right hand.
We've said it all season long, such a quick first step. You don't want to give him any space or else he'll attack, and he knows how to finish at the rim.
Anderson picked up by Copeland. Using the Howard screen, loses it. Copeland in transition the other way, tosses it. Spieth, though, with a huge rejection, and that denied a sure alley-oop. Bruner had space and was ready to throw one down, but that's just great basketball instincts by Spieth.
Yeah, though, you have to know however many thousands are here in the John J. Lee Amphitheater. I think just about everyone knew a lob to Bruner was coming. They were setting up, but Spieth, good wherewithal, getting up and rejecting it right out of bounds.
Dallier looking for contact, gets it. That's Howard's first. Another situation to watch. Travis Fuller went to the bench with 2 fouls after just 3 minutes of play.
And speaking about Brown's just lack of size down low, the more foul trouble you get the Bears in, whether that means certain players have to play longer stretches out there, just amplifies that advantage for Yale. Can continue to just pound it in the paint and score down low.
Dallier, good on 2. That ties the ball game at 12.
And Dallier just so steady this season. Last weekend just filled out the stat sheet. 6 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Doesn't have to be the star on this team, but a steady hand at that point guard position.
Howard with a nice move. Downey spins. Dallier for 3. Dallier hits. Dallier, a guy who struggled with that shot his first few seasons at Yale, has really turned it on this year. 40% from beyond the arc. Ball loose. I think Spieth just lost that. Dallier. Nice pass. Downey.
The last few sequences for Yale, pretty flawless execution offensively, led by the seniors of Downey and Dallier goes again.
Dallier the other way. Timeout Brown.
And when it comes time to conference action, all about the captain. After that point, did not see much playing time during the Ivy season. So a team, perhaps he's remembering those moments. Everyone sort of has their history. Small conference, 8 teams. You sort of remember those big-time moments. And Anthony Dallier coming out to play tonight.
Tavon Blackman back into the ball game. And Blackman has it now guarded by Phils, who's also checked in. Howard underneath, guarded well by Bruner. Dallier has Doherty on him. Aggressive defense. Here's Copeland. Copeland spinning, scoops, and traveled before that.
And he pulled it out just out. He pulled out just about every move he had there. Ultimately a step too many, heading back Brown's way, but good aggression from Copeland.
Yeah, Blake Reynolds comes in the ballgame for Sam Downey, who gets his first breather. It's Anderson. Howard hands off to Blackman. Anderson back to Blackman. Swing it around. Doherty trickles out. Anderson steps into one. Misses. Reynolds out of bounds. It'll go to the Bulldogs.
Great team defense that time. Bruner now guarding Spieth. Only had the ball in his hands for about a second on that possession. And Trey Phil's handling Blackman. One of the more quick and elusive guards in the Ivy League. But Phil's does well. One of the perhaps the best perimeter defender for this Yale side.
Dallier double team. Copeland has it. Copeland back to Dallier. Copeland from the corner. A bit strong. Spieth skies for the rebound. Blackman picked up by Jordan Bruner. That's a mismatch. Blackman, though, loses his feet, keeps his dribble, though. Spieth again. Oh, my goodness. He can't be stopped.
As soon as Bruner picked up Blackman, Spieth just went and set up at the three-point line. He knew eventually he'd perhaps get an opening, and there's just no hesitation for Spieth. He knows he's taking it. He knows it's going in.
Copeland from the elbow. Nice touch. Ball in the cylinder, though. They'll wave that one off. Bruner tried to wait up there in the air. Couldn't quite wait long enough. Yale, though, retakes the lead. 19-17. Timeout on the floor. 13 left to play. And on the floor for the Bulldogs, it's Anthony Dallier, Alex Copeland, Trey Phils, Jordan Bruner, and Blake Reynolds. For Brown, it's Joshua Howard, Corey Doherty, Tavon Blackman, Obi Akoli, and Travis Fuller. Steven Spieth takes his first break of the night. Fuller playing with 2 fouls. Copeland knocked it away. Thought about diving for it. Would have gone right into the fans there on the sideline.
Over here on the sidelines here, Brown head coach Mike Martin now asking how many turnovers do we have. Currently 4 for the Bears. Really effect on that one, and a tough finish there.
Doherty's shot challenged by Bruner. Bruner leading the Ivy League in blocks with 2.3 per game. He's doing that in somewhat limited minutes, too.
Yeah, that's what's so exciting about him. He has so much offensive potential, but he's already a lot of the way there defensively. He can make a real impact on that end of the court. Any offense you're getting from him right now is a true bonus.
Tough finish by Phils. Went up with the left hand through contact. Phils, 7 points in the first 10 minutes. Blackman crossed the 1,000-point threshold last weekend, and he fires a 3. Misses.
Phil's 15 games played this year. He's only scored more than 7 on 3 occasions. Season high is 10. So well on his way to perhaps putting a new best there.
Reynolds to Bruner. He lines up the 3. Misses. Ball knocked loose. Pulled in by Akoli. Blackman right by Copeland. Takes the contact. Rolls off the rim. He'll go to the free throw line.
Blackman, one of the most fearless players in the Ivy League. Undeterred. What you like to see from him, too, just the confidence. Last weekend did not have his best game by any means. 1 for 11 from the field. Only got to the free throw line on 1 occasion. But tonight, facing one of the most daunting players in the league, Jordan Bruner going right up, staying strong and getting 2 free throws out of it.
Blackman gets to the free throw line regularly, averaging more than 4 attempts per game. Knocks down the first. Bulldogs bring Iaoni and Sam Downey back into the ball game. Brown sends out Spieth. J.R. Hobby also in. Blackman misses the second. Ball knocked loose, chased down by Trey Phils. Young lineup on the floor for the Bulldogs. A couple freshmen, 2 sophomores, or excuse me, 3 sophomores, a freshman, and a senior. Copeland with the right hand high off the glass, misses. Also in the game for the first time, David Arabor. Arabor out of Sykesville, Maryland, number 10. Sets the screen for Blackman. Blackman pushed off, or actually traveled. That's the 5th Brown turnover. one area to watch. Bulldogs turned the ball over 18 times last weekend against Brown. Bears only 9 turnovers. That was one of the differences in the game. But the Bulldogs did enough on the offensive glass, out-rebounded Brown, 47-31, and they made the shots down the end to, as we said, squeak out that win.
Yeah, and ultimately Brown just did not capitalize on those turnovers. Only 14 points off of them. Meanwhile, Yale closed behind at 10.
Yale leads by 3 inside a packed house at the John J. Lee Amphitheater.
You start to get a sense of why the Bulldogs did not lose a single game here in the calendar year 2016. In fact, haven't lost in quite some time. You have to go all the way back to February 2015, a loss to Columbia, 21 consecutive games.
Yeah, Spieth with an offensive rebound, can't get the follow-up. Erebor comes down with it, though. Hobby for 3. Misses. Spieth again with the offensive rebound. Nice flip. 3 offensive rebounds on that possession. That makes James Jones furious.
Yeah, absolutely relentless. That's Brown out-Yaling Yale there. Just attacking the glass. And ultimately it's Spieth finishing.
Reynolds was bumped. Foul on the floor, though.
He's made his 20 straight home game victories here. Of course, have not played yet at home in the Ivy season. Traveled, beat Penn the opening night, lost to Princeton before that exciting victory last weekend.
Dallier into the game. Reynolds using the glass, knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Downey. Action restarts. It's Blackman. Guarded by Phils. Blackman to Coley. Hobby has yet to fire from deep. Pass by Spieth. He thought it was kicked off the leg of a Yale player. Oni fires out to Reynolds. Here's Phils into the lane. Phils again with the left hand. Contact will go to the line.
Just a different player tonight in Trey Phils, really bringing it on the offensive end. He's seeing a mismatch, and he just continues to get to the basket quick.
Trey Phils, 7 points on 2 of Yale leads Brown 21-20. Trey Phils to the free throw line. It was David Erebor who was whistled for the foul. That's his second. Fuller also with 2. Howard with 1. Biggs for Brown in plenty of foul trouble so far.
That's just going to allow Yale to be even further incentivized to really go into the paint. Already having Brown in foul trouble. Now with players that are either going to be forced to play more time than usual or have to play cautious, aware of that foul trouble.
Joshua Howard back into the ball game. It's Doherty with it. He's joined on the floor by Coley, Spieth, and Chris Sullivan. Spieth out to Doherty. Doherty got Phils up in the air. Reynolds poked it away. Doherty on the floor. And it's a tie-up. It'll go to the Bulldogs.
Early timeout here. Taken by...
I think many would not have expected to be in the hunt for that top 4 spot. So far, they played really well. They've shown that they're going to be one of those teams fighting for a spot.
Absolutely, it's all about that path to Palestra. Cornell already having lost tonight. Brown can actually leapfrog them into 5th tonight with the victory. And a frustrating turnover for Brown coming out of the timeout. You call that hoping to draw up and play, get an easy 2, and instead it's down at the other end, putting Yale at 5.
Spieth down to a Coley, up and over Miaoni. Good decision by the sophomore, at great position on the Yale freshman, and finished with the easy lay-in. Dallier pursued. Downey, so good last week, 26 points, 13 rebounds. He's showing on the interior. Oni will take the 3, short, and it'll go to the Bears.
That's that left wing, though, that Oni really didn't stray from. Those final 3 minutes, 29 seconds hit 4 3-pointers from probably within a 5-foot area. before the women's game earlier today around 4 o'clock. He was out there at that same spot, and that's where Spieth lines that one up, but he's short.
Taken by Phils in transition the other way. Phils, offensive foul, they say. And at the first foul on Trey Phils.
The one thing with young players, the Yale fans really letting the officials have it here. Especially in a game where Phils is playing so aggressive and so well. You hope charging fouls like that don't deter further drives to the basket.
Clever move by Spieth. It's a 1-point game. Spieth, the game's leading scorer, with 13, and Sullivan fouls Dallier at midcourt. I think that's the 7th team foul. It will send Dallier to the line. Bruner checking into the ball game. Dallier to shoot the 1-and-1. He's this season a 77% shooter from the stripe. Seven points for the senior.
You mentioned Brown being among the best in the nation at getting to the free throw line. Yale actually outdid them in that department last week. 14 of 21 to Brown's 12 of 17, and they're a big pair for Dallier. Always nice to hit 2 on those 1-on-1 opportunities.
Coley. Howard back to Doherty. Doherty. Sullivan kind of got in his way. Coley. Nice move to create some space. Up and under. And nice finish. 8 points for the sophomore. He's had a good start to the first half.
Yeah, nearly matching his season average already. Averaging 9 points a game. He had 17 last week, 7 of 11. Really goes under the radar, but just as Yale having some breakout seasons from Copeland and Phils, Obi Coley having a wonderful season for Brown.
Oni shooting over the Brown zone, misses from the corner. Doherty to Spieth. Spieth. Bruner has to be out on him. Brown will reset with 15 seconds on the shot clock. Coley goes at Oni. Now to the corner. Time running out. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Doherty out of bounds. And it will go to Yale.
And that time another sound defensive possession for Yale.
Mass substitutions. Travis Fuller, Tavon Blackman, and J.R. Hobby check in. Alex Copeland comes into the ball game for the Bulldogs. 1 point game. Dallier. Nice feed. Foul and one.
How about that one? It looked like he wasn't even going to get the shot off, and Bruner just hangs in there just long enough. Fake it off the glass. Good and one.
Bruner. 70% from the charity stripe. Misses. And Yale's lead remains at 3. Back and forth ball game. Yale's had the lead as of late, but haven't been able to extend it. And they won't. In that case, Hobby nailing the 3 from the corner. Tie ball game.
Yeah, Hobby, more than capable three-point shooter, over 50% this season, making more than 2 a game.
And he's a guy you've just got to chase off the arc. He only has taken 2 attempts from inside the arc this season, made 1 of them. But he wants to shoot the 3. The Bulldogs know he wants to shoot the 3. You can't let him do it. Bulldogs, though, in a close battle with Brown, 29-29 the score. Steven Spieth building on last. Anthony Dallier to inbound under his basket. Wouldn't be surprised if they try to get Bruner or Downey a look on the interior. Downey gets it, and it's an easy layup.
Yeah, work to perfection there. End up getting the switch. Blackman all alone and guarding Downey. Easy, 2 for Yale.
Travis Fuller not played a ton in the first half, picked up 2 early fouls, but has done well not to pick up the third. Blackman floats one in.
Just the definition of a back and forth contest tonight. Really, this is sort of setting up to be one of those games where whoever can get the most stops rather than having the ball last, one of those evenings.
Copeland on the baseline, kicks out to Dallier. Dallier through the zone, floats, knocks it down. Spieth driving on Bruner, and that one falls in.
And that's why he's so dangerous. Obviously, we've been seeing the shooting the last couple of games with him, but that's his bread and butter. Driving to the rim, got the first step past Bruner, and no matter how big of a shot blocking threat you are, it doesn't help if you're beaten by a couple steps.
Downey back to Dallier. He'll take the three, misses. Long rebound held by Anderson, and that's a category that Brown has done really well in the first half, out-rebounding the Bulldogs by, I think, by 2 now, 13-11. Fuller loses it underneath, gets it on the floor, throws it away, comes to Hobby. Anderson, and Brown takes the lead.
How about that? Bruner and Copeland were each there. Anderson just windmilling his way through, but you mentioned the rebound, and it had to have been a point of emphasis this week, and especially last week. And Yale out-rebounded Brown 47-31, so complete flipping of the script there.
Foul on Dallier will send him to the line. I think it's the 9th team foul, so he'll still shoot the 1-and-1. But, I mean, it's even more impressive, James, in the context of Fuller sitting on the bench for extended periods. Howard hasn't always been in. It's just a great team rebounding effort by Brown.
Absolutely. And a lot of that goes to rebounding from the guard position. Also, Stephen Spieth, who plays, listed as a forward, having, playing on the perimeter, but still being able to grab those 5 rebounds so far tonight. It's all about closing off those second chance opportunities, something that Yale has become accustomed to and known for, really getting those second chance opportunities, not really getting them tonight. So it's just strong, solid fundamentals really on the glass for Brown.
Dallier hits the first. He has 12 points in the first half. Make that 13. What a game so far, James. 35-35. Brown, the top offense in the Ivy League. Yale, one of the best defenses, but it's been a battle of the offenses so far. And that's a foul on Downey, his first.
And that's what's impressive, given the fast pace of this. Only 5 team fouls thus far for Yale. Of course, Brown has been in the bonus for a few minutes now.
Well, in this lineup, they've got Okoli and Spieth as the 2 bigs, for lack of a better word, and Okoli just going right at Bruner, up and over him. Too much quickness on the floor, and the Bulldogs haven't been able to cope with it.
Yeah, this has been a couple times now that Bruner has been the man giving up the basket. That's on Okoli, just using his body so well to get a clean look, able to fade away in the air.
The zone, nice feed to Bruner underneath.
And how about the patience there? Waiting for a bit of an opening to appear. Bit of a reverse and a big slam, bringing this Yale crowd to its feet.
Anderson to Okoli. Okoli gets some momentum going. That time a little wild. Less than a minute to play. Dallier. Monroe, who's in the game for the first time. Monroe at the free throw line, pulls up, back to Dallier. Dallier uses his elbow to create some space, and then the follow. 15 points for Dallier. What a showing. He and Spieth now each with 15.
Yeah, Brown defense seemed to stall there a bit, perhaps hoping for a foul call against Dallier. Instead, Dallier just took the opening and converted.
About a 9-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Blackman going to let it run down. Guarded by Monroe. Now the offense goes to work. Blackman crosses over, kicks out. Okoli for 3. Yes! Yale, though, still with time. Monroe, less than 10 seconds ago. Monroe gives it to Dallier. Dallier loses it momentarily, picks it back up. Dallier heaves one up, misses. Anderson rebounds, and Brown leading by 1 at halftime.
One of the best halves of Anthony Dallier's season and career, but couldn't help on that last heave at the basket. But what a half on both ends. Each stat sheet, notice what went right, what went wrong, and that's absolutely going to jump out at them. One thing, though, that the Bulldogs did well and did better than Brown, free throw line, Yale 11 for 13. Brown, meanwhile, just 1 of 2 from the charity stripe.
On the floor, it's Dallier, Phils, Oni, Reynolds, and Downey for the Bulldogs. Dallier guarded by Tavon Blackman, and a foul called on Blackman. Brown trots out Blackman, Okoli, Spieth, Doherty, and Fuller.
You know, such a tight contest. You've seen these teams now play 60 minutes of competitive basketball. You hate to get a foul that early. More of a ticky-tack foul for Brown, and they got into the bonus in the first half. Helped Yale get to the free throw line so much more, and Trey Phils going right back at it. Big and one there.
Phils has shown his aggression, 11 points. And I think, James, this is probably the best we've seen Trey Phils play in his career to this point. Has been a spark plug over the first 21 minutes.
Now career high, 11 points for Phils. Make it 12, and that's what, spark plug is a very common way that we use to describe him or Copeland when either is coming off the bench. But right now, Phil's just a playmaker, and he's going to be relied upon this year. We talked about the losses to graduation, the loss of Makai Mason. Phil's expected to be one of these players that can lead Yale, and he's doing it tonight.
Mike Martin asking the official for some foul calls. Brown only shot 2 free throws in the first half. They're number 1 in the country, we mentioned, in free throw rate. Getting to the foul line. Turnover, Phils has it taken away by Spieth. Doherty the other direction, and he's fouled. Before the shot, or before the pass in that case, will be an inbound opportunity for Brown. But the Bulldogs did do a pretty good job playing defense without fouling. The problem was, James, that they were giving up too many easy looks around the basket.
Well, that's when you see a team shoot 5 for 11 from the three-point line, a team that had such success from the perimeter against Yale a week ago. You're not going to be drawing fouls that way, which is fine when you're making them, and certainly something that Coach Martin probably understands in terms of that isn't the way that they typically get to the line. But I think you're going to see them come to the drive into the lane a bit more. It's hard to sustain a 60% rate for another half of basketball.
Inbound to Fuller. And foul off the ball. It's on Reynolds, who is tracking Spieth. First foul on Reynolds, second team foul. Blackman will inbound again.
We were talking during the break whether Yale would adjust who would be guarding Spieth. It's been Reynolds much of the game. This time a switch, and those will likely have him. Mismatch there, though.
Okoli shoots over Dallier. He hits it. 16 points for Obi Okoli.
7 for 9 from the field. He's made 2 of his 3 three-point attempts. Brown offense firing on all cylinders, but Yale still just down 1.
Reynolds hands off to Oni. Oni, nice pass back to Reynolds. A bit strong on the layup. Ball knocked loose, and Spieth chases it down in transition the other way. Spieth steps past Oni. Too strong. Fuller follows. Downey, though, corrals it eventually. Dallier wraps around Reynolds into the lane. Dallier hacked.
Yeah, I wasn't sure he was going to really go up with it initially, but once he got that arm hook, good wherewithal by Dallier to get the shot up and get the trip to the free throw line.
Dallier back to the free throw line. He was 6 of 6 from the line in the first half.
Yeah, perhaps more important on that foul, too. The 4th for Travis Fuller. Still with 0 points. Only played 7 minutes in that first half, and now foul number 4 for him.
Dallier misses his first attempt of the game. Joshua Howard checking in for Fuller. Fuller, you'd expect to be sitting on the bench for a while, playing with 4 fouls, 18-15 left to go.
You can see him. You can just see the disappointment on his face. Teammates trying to pick him up, but frustrating game for him. Getting the start tonight. Has not been able to be out there, contribute to his team. 0 rebounds.
Howard passes to Doherty. Doherty maintains his balance. Double teamed, and he throws it away to Fills. Fills the other way. Trey Fills with the left hand blocked. Spieth, great trailing, and it's out of bounds. It will actually a foul. It's on Oni.
Yeah, Doherty had grabbed the loose ball. A bit of a push from Oni, sent him out. So a few fouls early on here. Oni having to exit there. Alex Copeland back onto the floor.
Doherty to Spieth. Spieth will take the three again. That one misses. Follow. Okoli, offensive rebound. 18 points for Okoli.
I guess no matter what happens when he shoots the ball, it's still going to result in points for Brown. Big offensive rebound there.
Okoli now 8 of 10 from the field. Copeland to Dallier. Dallier into the lane. Stripped by Blackman. Blackman. Doherty. Nice little pass. Howard fouled.
Yeah, Downey got him on the arm late in that shot. And strong of a game as Dallier has been playing. That last sequence, more isolation basketball. Yale not getting too many great looks out of their sets. Like to see a little bit more ball moving on the other end of the floor.
Howard to the line. Howard misses the first free throw. Head coach Mike Martin said before the season that Joshua Howard could play the 1 through the 4 for Brown, and as it happens, James, he's spent quite a bit of the season playing the 5. Really talented freshman, can do just about everything, and in a season in which the Ivy League has had a plethora of hyper-talented freshmen, Howard definitely deserves to be named among that bunch.
Absolutely, and it's so great to see for the league. Just you take a step back and see all the talent. Of course, we've been having the pleasure to watch the likes of Mia Ioni and Jordan Bruner, but strong freshman play across the league. AJ Brodeur coming to mind at Penn as well. And as much as we talk about how much...
And not to mention all the Harvard freshmen.
Well, of course. One of the best recruiting classes, perhaps the best recruiting class in recent Ivy history. But ultimately, the name of the game, as much as people talk about the game of basketball changing, you have to be versatile, and that's one thing Howard brings to this team.
Copeland with 2 on the shot clock. Beautiful crossover and nice in-between game.
Don't forget about the sophomores either. I think that's what Alex Copeland's thinking. Great move there. Quiet first half, but a strong basket there.
Okoli has 18. Doherty gets Copeland in the air, steps into it, and hits the long 2. Doherty's first points of the game.
Yeah, great job there by Doherty. Copeland tried to recover, got back, was able to contest it a bit from behind, but clean finish.
Bruner walks over to the scorer's table. Dallier. Back out to Reynolds for 3. Long. Downey, but a foul. They say Downey pushed off.
Foul number 3 for Downey. A couple of these last few minutes. He's now going to exit.
Anderson checks in for Blackman, and Bruner comes in for Downey. Anderson, guarded by Copeland, goes by Copeland. Bruner comes over, knocks it away. It'll be an out of bounds. Bulldogs trailing Brown by 4. Obi Okoli's been fantastic. 5 points to get Brown going in the second half. They've taken a 48-44 lead. Brown leads Yale 48-44. Brown's up the defense and made things difficult for the Bulldogs. Yale hasn't helped themselves. Shooting only 2 of 11 from beyond the arc. It's the team shooting 38% coming into the game. That's 49th nationally. But the Bulldogs haven't been able to find their stroke back in the friendly confines of the John J. Lee Amphitheater.
Of course, you only have to go back a week. It was Mia Ioni, 4 3-pointers in the final 3 minutes, 29 seconds. He hadn't hit one before it in that game, so you never know. It's going to be an exciting one all the way down to the end.
Not much time on the shot clock. I think Howard just got it away. Gets his own rebound, though, and finishes. A couple big offensive rebounds. First, Okoli, that time Howard, have led to easy looks and big second chance points for Brown in the second half.
Well, what a play by Howard. Outsized by Bruner, but just using his body to create enough space. Great job by the freshman.
Copeland gets it back from Bruner, and a foul on Anderson. That was one of those in-between ones. I think the Brown bench thought maybe it was going to go the other way. First foul on Anderson. Hobby checks in for Doherty. And Oni runs to the scorer's table. He'll get back in the ball game. Phils leaves.
Oh, man, you could feel the intensity with every whistle, the sighs or complaints coming from each end. I mean, this is a Brown team. It's big miscue there for Yale.
The other way, Anderson blocked from behind by Oni. Spieth there, though. Spieth misses, and Bruner knocks it loose to Reynolds. Effort play by Oni. After Dallier were disconnected at the other end, Bruner with the flush. Huge swing of momentum, really a 4-point swing. Spieth passes to the corner. McCauley to Spieth again. Spieth was fouled by Bruner. That's the 6th team foul, I believe. It is, second on Bruner. So Brown will shoot free throws after this point with 14:37 left to go. That's a big factor in this game. Inbound pass nearly knocked away by Reynolds. Anderson. Hobby had the space, and Hobby makes Yale pay. Best three-point shooter in the Ivy League, can't leave him any space.
Yeah, it doesn't need much room at all. That time had a step, even fading away. He was able to square his body to the basket and knock it down.
Dallier denied space, gets it back to Copeland. Yale trailing by 7. This is the biggest Brown lead. Copeland. Nice little move and offhand finish.
You just see that slight hesitation, turned his head back just enough to turn the defender, slow him down a bit, and Copeland gets the hoop.
Copeland, you have to imagine this is a guy that Yale need in the second half, especially after Dallier carried so much of the load. But Anderson with the bucket, he has 6.
It's an offensive clinic right now.
Yale still hasn't figured out this Brown zone. Copeland.
You have Reynolds running the baseline. Ideally, you try to get it to Bruner in the paint. And that time, just a miscommunication. Reynolds was coming up. Dallier just missed him.
Yeah, Dallier trying a quick touch pass to Reynolds, but didn't spot the movement. Monroe will come in for Copeland.
How exciting this has been, speaking about this series. I mean, obviously an incredible game last weekend, but one where Yale has had the dominance of, as of late, have won 5 in a row, 12 of the last 14 meetings with the Bears. The Bears giving all they have to Yale.
Blackman for 3. He hits, 10-point lead. Timeout, Yale.
It only makes about 1 a game, but that one was a big one. Taking all they have at this game. Brown now out-rebounding Yale overall, 23-14. That's just something you just don't see with a Coach James Jones-led squad. Brown side that's really pulling out all the stops tonight, and that's helped them build an impressive 10-point lead.
Yeah, they feel like they gave away a game a week ago in Providence, and they're out for revenge, and they've shown it in the second half. 10-point lead. Bulldogs, though, need to calm things down. Still lots of time left. Oni gives to Dallier. And Dallier, the guy in the first half who really kept Yale in the game single-handedly. Bruner. Monroe. Oni. Reynolds got Spieth in the air. Reynolds steps in. Back out to Oni for 3 with the shot clock expiring. Misses. And it comes to Blackman.
And when you look at the youth on the floor, you start to wonder how will this team respond to this sort of adversity. And listening to the post-game press conference the last few weeks, this is a team of people who just believe like we just win when we're at home. We win when we're playing Ivy League competition. Alex Copeland, Trey Phils, they were speaking a couple of weeks ago, and they said, we don't know anything different. So that's sort of the DNA here, but this is a big test coming down against an impressive Brown squad tonight.
Ball knocked away from Reynolds. Yale now with 6 turnovers in the second half. I think they only had 5 in all the first half. McCauley picked up by Oni. Nice little no-look pass to Spieth. Spieth, underhand feed. Bruner, though, coming over with the help defense. And That would have been an easy lay-in for Erebor. Oni using the Bruner screen to Monroe, left open for three. Huge shot by the freshman.
And that time a great look from Oni. Saw Monroe sneaking over, had a step on his defender, no hesitation, big time shot.
And James Jones wants him to go in the 1-3-1. Some confusion. It nearly cost him. His speed was left wide open on the wing.
Yeah, you rarely see Coach Jones that animated, jumping up and down. We've seen them use that 1-3-1 with Bruner at the top. It's caused a lot of havoc against opposing offenses. We'll see what happens this time around.
Monroe to Dallier. Dallier, well defended by Hobby. Ball knocked away by Erebor. He comes up with the steal. Now James Jones just dropped back in the man-to-man. Blackman bumped by Reynolds, no whistle. Blackman going past Monroe, and he was fouled as Monroe and Blackman, and Blackman go into the Yale Precision Marching Band. Tavon Blackman stepping up to the free throw line. He's a 78% shooter. Fouled by Monroe, who's still in the game. It's Dallier, Bruner, Oni, Downey, and Monroe for Yale. Blackman hits the first. Spieth, Howard, Hobby, Anderson, complimenting Blackman on the floor. Blackman hits both. 9-point advantage for the Bears. 8 points for Tavon Blackman this evening. Dallier double teamed, and Anderson got his arm caught in there. It's a foul. 5th team foul.
And these are a big few minutes for Yale coming out of that break. Lead hanging around 9, a dangerous territory. You don't want to get it too out of hand. Brown team that just has shown no signs of cooling off. You have to play sound offense here if you are Yale. Sam Downey back on the floor, as you stated. Only 6 points tonight, pretty quiet.
And the Bulldogs have to look for Downey. He's trying to create some space. Howard, though, does well to deny him. Bruner's pass kicked by Spieth. And we've talked a lot about Okoli and Spieth, James, but in the second half, it's really been the rest of the Brown team that's opened up the lead. Blackman playing much better. Hobby's knocked down a big three. And defensively, they tighten things up. Monroe traveled.
Yeah, when we talk about Yale having two-time defending Ivy League champions, a common thing is talking about having a target on your back. And you think about that with teams like Harvard or Princeton competing for the Ivy League championship. This is the Brown side. Players like J.R. Hobby, Steven Spieth, Tavon Blackman, they've beaten Yale once in their careers when they were freshmen. They want to do it again, and this is perhaps their last chance of doing so against the team that just went to March Madness, the Cinderellas of the Ivy League. Don't think they're not enjoying being up 9 here in New Haven. And they're going to give it their all here these final 10 minutes.
Bulldogs come out in the 1-3-1. Anderson goes by Dallier. Gets it to Blackman, who's wide open for three. Just a bit strong. Ball loose, and Phils comes away with it after it pinballed around.
Brown really unfazed by that 1-3-1. Very clean look.
Oni bumped, and that's the 6th team foul on Brown. First on Hobby.
And for how quickly Yale got into the bonus here in the second half, Brown really hasn't taken advantage quite yet. Of course, the next foul for Brown will send Yale to the line.
Phils has been good this evening. 12 points, perfect shooting. Oni to Dallier. In and out. Downey, though, with the rebound, back up with it. Sam Downey, 8 points. One 1-3-1 again.
Never much for dunking Downey. Remember, he received some flack when they beat Baylor for a wide open layup. I remember his teammates gave him a lot of flack, but that time a huge offensive rebound for the senior.
Hobby Had a little space there, couldn't connect. Good offense, though, by Brown. They had the Yale defense. Kind of in chaos. Oh, and another offensive foul. That goes against Oni, his third.
This has been a Brown side that we've seen it last week throughout the season. Has been effective at drawing those sorts of charges. That time you could feel the energy rising in this arena. Oni trying to make a play. A smart job defensively there for the Bears.
And Yale in the 1-3-1. Really, this is always a gamble from James Jones. He has created turnovers at times this season, but takes a lot of energy to execute. And maybe they're going to switch out of that because Reynolds checking in for Bruner, but actually they'll stick into it. Just Dallier will come up and be the tip.
And when you look at the floor right now, you have Spieth and Hobby hanging out in the corners with only Phils on the baseline.
Three-pointer misses. Ball knocked loose. Spieth had it, and then Dallier with a strong rebound. He was hit on the way down, and Dallier will go to the free throw line.
And so that's the second time, though, that they've gotten a look from deep against that 1-3-1. You wonder if it's just one of those defenses you go into for a couple minutes just to throw a different look, but the shooters Brown has out on the floor, as he said, could end up being a bit risky, but Yale's gotten away with it the last couple times, and now free throws upcoming.
Yeah, a couple big free throws for Dallier. He's shooting the 1-and-1. Missed both times in his last trip to the stripe. But hits here.
Yale doing just enough without creating the big run to hang in and sort of chip away at this lead, now down to 5. The team will be to continue to play strong defense. Brown in a bit of a scoring drought now in his last couple of minutes.
Blackman hands off to Spieth. Spieth has been a little bit quiet offensively in the second half.
But always helpful when you are having a bit of a quiet spell. Head to the free throw line. Spieth, one of the best in the league, over 88%. That's the line nearly 6 times a game.
And I think he's shooting the 1-and-1. It was a little bit confusing. The PA announcer said he was shooting 2, but Yale ready for it. Reynolds. Phils. Oni well defended by a coat as Reynolds hits, and Yale really needed that one to go.
A lot of players seeming to ask, how does that not fall? But what a turn of fortune there. You have one of the best free throw shooters in the gym. Missed the front end of a 1-and-1 at one end. Very nearly a 3-point play there for Reynolds, but now a couple big free throws for Reynolds. 0 points tonight for the sophomore.
Reynolds connects on the first. Reynolds had 13 points and 6 rebounds last week against Brown. Cuts the Bears' lead to 3. A little over 8 minutes left to play. Doherty. Howard. Now it's with Blackman. Blackman going to the hoop. Feeds Akoli, who is blocked by Downey. Ball loose, picked up by Akoli, out of bounds, and it will stay with the Bears at that end.
Oh, what great help defense that time by Downey. It was a beautiful dish by Blackman. He got the step, found his man, but a big time.
Brown leading Yale 60-57. One of many fantastic games taking place in the Ivy League so far this season. Once again, you're watching this on the Ivy League Digital Network, which is now available on Apple TV and Roku. Blackman to inbounds, and he gets it to Akoli, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Akoli on the baseline, going through Downey, offensive foul.
And a couple of huge defensive stands here for the Bulldogs. Just the first foul against Akoli. Some full court pressure.
They get it into Dallier. Dallier, hounded by Doherty, switches now with Blackman. Brown back into the zone. Dallier. Oni to Reynolds, who is picked up well by Blackman. Comes to Phils in the corner. Phils driving baseline, kicks out to Dallier, wide open for three. Tie ball game!
Make it an even 20 for the captain. All alone. Knockdown, tied ball game.
Doherty at the free throw line. Howard underneath. Knocked away by Downey. And it will stick at this end with the Bears. 7:06 to play. Blackman to inbound again. Oni guarding the inbound pass, and he'll just fire it down half court to Okoli. But with only 11 seconds on the shot clock, Brown has to get in the offense quickly. It's Blackman. Blackman going back the other way. Tough floater, a little strong. Howard again, an offensive rebound, but loses it. Oh, Oni, nice move, slams it home. Phils knocks it away. Phils in transition was fouled. I think they'll say that was before the shot. But the momentum has swung back to the Bulldogs, and this JLA crowd is on its feet.
If Phils had found a way to finish there, I think the roof might have actually been blown off. It was Howard with the big offensive rebound for Brown. Knocked away. Miaoni there to pick it up. Two big steps past Steven Spieth, and one of the most thunderous slams this arena may have ever seen.
Bruner will come in for Downey, who's played fantastically here over the last 6 or 7 minutes at both ends of the floor. That'll probably be his last breather before he comes back in to close it out. Phils connects on both, and Yale has a 4-point lead. Spieth guarded by Bruner, and a whistle. It's a foul on Bruner that will send Spieth to the line. 10th team foul, double bonus. Spieth will shoot 2.
Not surprising, Brown turns to Steven Spieth there. How quickly things have changed here.
Yeah, Yale on a 13-0 run over the last 4 minutes. And Spieth, this is the first. Anderson checks in for Blackman.
How about that? 2 consecutive misses for Spieth. The first, of course, the front end of a 1-and-1.
Hits the second. 16 points for Steven Spieth. Phils on the wing. It's Oni. It's been quiet this evening outside of that monstrous jam. Dallier, baseline out to Reynolds. Reynolds thought about swinging it, but Doherty was in position. Oni with 8 seconds on the shot clock. Reynolds loses it. Howard ahead. Okoli using his body to create space. Okoli blocked by Oni, though.
Yeah, maybe a quiet game, but perhaps 2 of the loudest plays for Miaoni.
Ball will stay with Brown. What a play by Oni. And it was out of bounds on him, or off of him. Good call by the official.
Yeah, how do you think Brown likes playing this guy? Quiet game last week for Oni. Final 3.5 minutes, he knocks down 4 threes, just one after another.
Anderson slipped. Doherty for 3. Misses. Oni with a rebound.
And just everything going Yale's way right now. See Dallier trying to run a set here. You have to continue that momentum. Still plenty of time left in this ball game.
Phils. Dallier. And back out to Bruner. Oni. Dallier for 3. In, out, in! .23 points, Anthony Dallier. Timeout, Mike Martin. Bulldogs on a run.
That timeout from Coach Mike Martin perhaps felt even a little bit overdue. He was letting his players try to play out of it, but it's so tough to do on the road.
And Travis Fuller back in the game, playing with 4 fouls. Spieth tries to feed it to Fuller. Downey read it, though. Takes it away.
And it's a risk you have to take at some point if you are Coach Martin, but of course he hasn't been out on the floor so long. Fresh legs, but has to get into the rhythm of this game.
Downey down low with the right hand, a little bit short, but gets the friendly roll.
And don't think that was on Fuller's mind there either. Had to step off down. He can't afford to pick up a 5th foul here with 4.5 left to play.
Spieth to Okoli. Back out to Anderson. Nice little crossover. Anderson way off the mark, though. Dallier, Bruner. Dallier. Hands off to Oni. Oni, tough shot, but he gets it to go. And Yale just can't miss, James. Everything going in. Getting some friendly rolls at the other end. Okoli misses, out of bounds. It will stay with Brown. Yale, though, goes from a 10-point deficit to a 10-point lead in less than 10 minutes.
Extraordinary. It's the Ivy League.
Yale crowd getting behind its team. It's worked especially on the defensive end. Yale limiting the top-ranked offense in the Ivy League. Brown hasn't had a field goal in 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Blackman, though, trying to end that run. He can't. Ball loose. Spieth connected with Phils, and they whistle Spieth for the foul.
And meanwhile, Spieth and company all calling for interference in that last basket. The rim was shaking, may have helped push that ball out.
Yeah, Tavon Blackman's 3 with 13:10 left to go made it a 58-48 game. Since then, Brown only 3 free throws made. Bulldogs, meanwhile, run off 23 points. Phils, it's the first. It's an 11-point Yale lead.
Meanwhile, smooth and steady game for Trey Phils. Came out on fire today. Continuing to create and get some big baskets. Effective from the foul line here in the second half. Career high 16 points for Trey Phils.
Spieth lines up a 3. Can't hit.
Maybe that's where you start to realize the momentum's changed when Stephen Spieth doesn't hit that 3.
Blackman, though, with a nice defensive play with the right hand. Strong, though. And Yale with the rebounds. Nothing working for Brown. Oni Phils. He has space. Thought about it, but with the clock as Yale's friend, I think that's the right play.
Yeah, Coach Jones calmly telling his team, reset, reset.
Really tricky pass, and that'll be an offensive foul on Sam Downey.
Yeah, risky pass. Downey felt he had to do whatever he could to get that ball. Instead, called for the foul. His 4th.
Doherty comes in for Howard, and so it's back to Spieth and Okoli as the only big bodies. Brown needs to connect from the field. Spieth. Guarded by Bruner, spins, Spieth misses again.
You know, the second straight weekend where Brown has just come out on fire in the first half. 40 points each of the last 2 games against Yale. Last week outscored by 13 in the second half.
And Yale just making everything tough for Brown at the defensive end.
Yeah, outscored by 13 here. The second period, a chance to make it 14, perhaps 15 for Dallier.
Dallier. Misses the second. Blackman using a screen, goes baseline. And out of bounds, it will stay with Brown.
An effective trap there, and perhaps even more important, not fouling there. Sometimes very easy when you have that trap in the corner to be a little too aggressive, but Yale in the double bonus. Avoiding it instead will be inbounds. 19 seconds left in the shot clock.
Blackman to Spieth. Spieth will give it back to Blackman. 2:20 left to play. Brown needs to get in the offense quickly. They trail by 13. Ball loose, and maybe a tie-up. They will be a tie-up. Possession arrow favors Brown.
All right, Anthony Dallier at 24 points now. His previous season high, 15. Smashing that mark.
Yeah, 7 assists and 6 rebounds as well for the Yale senior. Jordan Bruner should be mentioned. A little bit quiet on the offensive end. He has 5 blocks, though. He's had a couple big ones during this run where Browns found it impossible to score. Spieth, another missed shot. Okoli, wide open. Blackman in the corner. Misses again. Fuller with the offensive rebounds. Spieth underneath. And Bruner had a chance to take that away off his fingertips out of bounds.
Yeah, frustrating ultimately how many second chance and third chance opportunities there for Brown, but still just no baskets made. The Bears just can't buy a basket right now. Time ticking away for Brown.
Blackman goes by Bruner and gets it to go. That ends the field goal drought. Bulldogs roll off nearly 12 minutes of impeccable defense. Turnover, though, will give Brown the basketball with 96 seconds left to play.
Of course, crazy things can happen. You only have to go back to Miaione's technical last week, and Yale was up 4, had the ball under 30 seconds left. Gets called with a big technical. 2 free throws made by Spieth. A 3 a few seconds later, and you had a tie ball game. Yale has to be vigilant here. Can't be complacent with this 11-point victory.
Blackman blocked again by Bruner. 6 rejections. Oni to Phils. Short. Downey there, though, but has it taken away by Doherty. Doherty the other way. Gives it to Blackman. Left alone for 3. Blackman hits. Single-digit ball game. 1:15 left to play. Yale, maybe a chance at one end to seal it, but Brown sticks
so well. That's not going to be an easy final minute 15 for Yale.
Yeah, Alex Copeland has come back in the ball game to help with this full court pressure. Comes into Dallier, who is immediately fouled.
Interesting, though, taking Trey Phils out, who's been effective from the free throw line in this one. 9 for 9, in fact. You know, Coach Jones likes to do the offense-defense between Copeland and Phils. Perhaps you could find some room for him out on the floor when you expect fouls to be committed, but instead it's Dallier now at the line.
Yeah, Phil's coming into the game only a 60% or 62% free throw shooter. Well, that will go up quite a bit with tonight's shooting performance. Copeland, meanwhile, at 78%.
And keeping Phil's out keeping him on the bench now. So not electing to take Copeland out on defense here.
26 points for Anthony Dallier, 10-point lead. Blackman to Spieth. Spieth spins in the lane, falls down, trip. The call on Bruner, his 4th. .106 left to play. Chris Sullivan and Brandon Anderson at the scorer's table waiting to check in. Spieth playing with 4 fouls. And Yale's done just a superb job on Spieth in the second half. He had 15 points and 4 assists at halftime, and he has 16 points and 4 assists now.
Yeah, and tough to see a true adjustment. Blake Reynolds playing on him, sticking to it, doing great there. Ultimately, Speed's only real attempts on the second half coming from the free throw line. A couple of fouls on the floor. In a way, perhaps the best defense on a man shooting the lights out of the gym.
Copeland was running out of space, a foul called. He'll go to the line.
Sometimes, though, when you are considering the play of Speed, you just can't expect it to continue. See, it's 60 minutes against Yale where he shot 10 for 14 from 3. Since that point, 0 for 4. Things tend to even out. Back on the floor now, but it was an impressive effort. I mean, Brown thrown off from the start, having Travis Fuller getting sent to the bench, responded in a very impressive fashion. Still hanging around. Big free throw upcoming for Alex Copeland.
And Copeland hits. With the win, Yale's home winning streak would go to 21, which would at least temporarily push it up to number 5. Cincinnati also a 20-game home winning streak.
Cincinnati winners last night against Xavier at home.
Loose ball. Blackman comes away with it, though. Spieth fires a long 3, and there it is.
Did we say he was getting cold? Instead, a few steps behind the line. Brown needed that one.
Dallier to Oni. Oni to Phils, and Phils misses. Bruner follows.
That time Brown went for the steal, just didn't get it in time, but there. The other end, if you're Yale, just do not want to foul. Best thing you could do when you're trailing is get 3 points with the clock stopped. Look at the other end, Bruner there. Him and Copeland, the 2 nearest bodies, and an easy 2 for Yale.
Blackman to the line for the 3-point play. Phil's in the game. Game also big ramifications across the Ivy League. Columbia beat Dartmouth 66-54 in New York earlier tonight. Also Harvard topping Cornell 77-71 after the Crimson trailed by 7 at the half. Harvard goes to 3-0 in the Ivy League. Columbia 2-1, Cornell 1-2, and Dartmouth 0-3.
Yeah, Brown with the win tonight could have jumped ahead of Cornell in the standings. Instead, seems likely will remain in that 6th slot. Meanwhile, Yale looking to move to 3-1, trying to keep pace with the Tigers and Harvard.
Dallier, 27 points tonight. He's been Yale's best player by some amount.
And it's never been his game to take over the scoring. But tonight, Yale needed him in the first half. He took it upon himself. Had what we consider half of his life. Follows it up with just nearly as an impressive second half. Had a big 3 to cap 13-0 Yale run, and big reason why Yale seems poised to come away with its 3rd conference victory.
Yeah, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, 7 turnovers, the one blemish for Anthony Dallier. But talk about filling up the stat sheet.
Yeah, and I'm sure Coach Jones will be sure to joke with him post-game and make sure he doesn't miss that number. Continues to knock down free throws, though, and put this one out of reach.
Blackman with 20 seconds left to go. Gets it to Coley, knocked out of bounds by Dallier. Coley to inbound. Dallier calling out instructions to his team. Brown able to inbound speed, splitting a couple defenders to Hobby for three, misses. Oni rebounds, and Oni is fouled with 9 seconds to play. Mie Oni, another difference maker in the second half, a few big energy plays. In the numbers, quiet night for him. 6 points, only a couple rebounds, 3, I think, with that one. A couple assists, 2 blocks, a steal, but the blocks and the steal happening in critical moments in which Yale really sees back the momentum.
It's been a knack for him this year. Coming up when it matters. So impressive for a freshman as Anthony Dallier exits and receiving a well-deserved standing ovation. Previous career high was 15. He blew that out of the water tonight with 29. Or, excuse me, 30, doubling up.
Okoli for three. That'll do it. Bulldogs come back from a 10-point deficit in the second half to win this one 85-75 in a hard-fought grudge match between two teams that went to the wire last weekend.